Picture this. You've been investing 10,000 rupees every month into an actively managed mutual fund for the last 10 years. Your fund manager, a highly educated professional sitting in a Mumbai high-rise, armed with Bloomberg terminals, research teams, and decades of market experience, promised to beat the market and grow your wealth. You trusted them. You paid them. Year after year after year. Now here's the question that should keep you up at night. What if I told you that there's a 93% chance that your fund manager actually destroyed your wealth compared to a simple index fund that a computer could manage? What if the entire mutual fund industry has been selling you an expensive illusion? This isn't conspiracy theory. This isn't sensationalism. This is cold, hard data from SPIVA, the most comprehensive study of fund manager performance in the world. And today, we are going to expose exactly why 95% of active mutual funds in India cannot beat a simple index, why your fund manager's Ferrari might be funded by your retirement dreams, and most importantly, what you as an Indian investor can do to stop bleeding money. Welcome to Mahayukti Finance. Today, we follow the money, and the truth is going to shock you. So what exactly is SPIVA and why should every Indian investor know about it? SPIVA stands for S&P Indices versus Active, and it's a research project by S&P Global that has been tracking fund manager performance across the world for over 2 decades. Think of it as the ultimate report card for the mutual fund industry. And in India, this report card is brutal. According to the latest SPIVA India scorecard, over a 10-year period ending December 2023, approximately 88% of Indian large-cap equity funds underperformed the S&P BSE 100 index. Let that sink in. Nearly 9 out of 10 professional fund managers, with all their resources, all their expertise, all their fancy algorithms, failed to beat a simple index that you could invest in for almost zero cost. But it gets worse. In the mid-cap and small-cap categories, the numbers are even more devastating. Over 90% of actively managed funds in these categories failed to beat their benchmark indices over the same period. These aren't cherry-picked statistics. This is comprehensive data covering hundreds of funds and lakhs of crores of investor money. The question is, if fund managers consistently fail to beat the index, why are we paying them 2% or more of our money every single year? Now let's talk about the silent assassin that's murdering your wealth while you sleep. The expense ratio. When you invest in an actively managed mutual fund in India, you're typically paying between 1.5 to 2.5% annually as expense ratio. This covers the fund manager's salary, research costs, marketing, and of course, profits for the asset management company. You might think, what's 1 or 2%? That's nothing. And that's exactly what the industry wants you to believe. Let me show you the devastating mathematics. Imagine you invest 10 lakh rupees at age 25. Assuming a 12% annual return over 30 years, your investment would grow to roughly 2 crore 95 lakh rupees with zero expense ratio. But with a 2% expense ratio, effectively reducing your return to 10%, your final corpus becomes only 1 crore 74 lakh rupees. The difference? 1 crore 21 lakh rupees. Gone. Not to market downturns. Not to bad luck. But to fees. That's 41% of your potential wealth transferred from your retirement to the fund house's profit margins. And here's the cruel irony. You paid this massive fee for underperformance. An index fund with an expense ratio of just 0.1 to 0.2% would have given you better returns in 90% of cases while charging you almost nothing. The expense ratio doesn't just reduce your returns, it compounds against you, year after year, decade after decade, silently draining your financial future. Now here's where the mutual fund industry's deception gets truly sophisticated. It's called survivorship bias, and it's the statistical sleight of hand that makes fund performance look far better than reality. Here's how it works. Every year, dozens of mutual funds in India are quietly merged or liquidated because of poor performance. When a fund fails miserably, the AMC doesn't let it continue destroying their reputation. Instead, they merge it with a better performing fund, and poof, the bad track record vanishes from existence. According to SPIVA data, over the last 15 years, nearly 30% of Indian equity funds have been merged or liquidated. These weren't random closures. These were funds that performed so poorly that they became an embarrassment. But here's the manipulation. When you look at industry performance statistics, these failed funds are excluded from the calculations. It's like a school calculating average marks but removing all the students who failed from the count. The average looks impressive, but it's a lie. So when a mutual fund advertisement shows you that active funds have delivered great returns, they're showing you a biased sample. The funds that would have dragged down the average have conveniently disappeared. If we include these ghost funds, these financial zombies that were killed off before they could further embarrass the industry, the underperformance of active funds becomes even more catastrophic. The graveyard of failed mutual funds is massive, but the industry has learned to bury its dead where investors can't see them. Let's address the elephant in the room. What about star fund managers? Surely there are genuinely skilled professionals who consistently beat the market? This is perhaps the most uncomfortable truth of all. Research consistently shows that past performance of fund managers has almost zero predictive value for future performance. SPIVA's persistence scorecard reveals something shocking. Among the top quartile performing funds in any given 5-year period, only about 20 to 30% remain in the top quartile in the subsequent 5 years. In other words, today's star performer is statistically likely to be tomorrow's average or below average performer. This is consistent with what we'd expect if performance was driven primarily by luck rather than skill. Think of it like this. If you have 1,000 people flipping coins, after 10 flips, some will have gotten 8 or 9 heads. They look like geniuses. But their past success tells you nothing about their future flips. The finance industry has built an elaborate mythology around fund managers. They're portrayed as financial wizards, modern-day oracles who can see what others cannot. But the data tells a different story. When researchers have run simulations comparing actual fund manager returns to random stock picking, the results are indistinguishable. The expensive suit, the confident television interviews, the impressive educational credentials, none of it translates into consistent market-beating returns. Your fund manager isn't a stock market genius. They're probably just lucky. And luck, by definition, doesn't last. Let's understand why this isn't just bad luck or incompetent managers. It's mathematical inevitability. The stock market is what economists call a zero-sum game before costs. For every rupee someone gains by beating the market, someone else must lose a rupee by underperforming. Now, who are the participants in the Indian stock market? Roughly speaking, it's a mix of active mutual funds, passive index funds, foreign institutional investors, domestic institutional investors, and retail traders. Here's the critical insight from Nobel laureate William Sharpe. The return of all active investors, as a group, must equal the market return before costs. It's simple mathematics. Active investors collectively are the market. So if active investors as a whole earn market returns before costs, but pay higher fees than passive investors, then active investors as a whole must earn less than market returns after costs. This isn't a theory. This is arithmetic. It's impossible for most active funds to beat the market because they are the market minus their fees. Every year, the active fund industry collectively transfers wealth from their investors to themselves through expense ratios, trading costs, and various other charges. The only way to escape this wealth transfer is to step off the active management treadmill entirely. When you buy a low-cost index fund, you're not trying to beat the market. You're simply owning the market and keeping more of your returns for yourself. So what should you, as an intelligent Indian investor, do with this information? First, acknowledge the reality. The mutual fund industry has powerful incentives to keep you in expensive, actively managed funds. Every rupee in passive index funds is a rupee not generating fat fees for fund houses. Don't expect them to tell you the truth. Second, consider shifting a significant portion of your equity allocation to low-cost index funds. The Nifty 50 Index Fund or the Nifty Next 50 for slightly more growth exposure offers you market returns minus minimal fees. Over 30 years, this fee savings alone could mean crores of additional wealth. Third, if you still want some active exposure, be extremely selective. Look for funds with low expense ratios, fund managers with their own money invested in the fund, and a clearly articulated investment philosophy. But keep your expectations realistic. Fourth, focus on what you can control. Your savings rate, your asset allocation, your tax efficiency, and your investment costs. These factors have far more impact on your financial future than trying to find the needle in haystack fund manager who might beat the index. Remember, the goal of investing isn't to beat the market. It's to build wealth to achieve your life goals. And the data is crystal clear. For the vast majority of investors, the surest path to wealth is the boring path. Low-cost index funds, regular investing, and patience. Subscribe to Mahayukti Finance for more such wealth-building insights. Your financial freedom journey starts with the truth, and now you have it.